I read part 2 of the Ballad of Beta Ray Cyrus, the first story in Simon Waltonson's incredibly important run on Thor. This is issue 338, and we have a cover with Thor and Beta Ray Cyrus and Thor's magic hammer in the centre. They are fighting over it even. And this artwork is a huge reference to the cover to Thor 126, Jack Quimby, Thor and Hercules Man. It was the first issue of Thor as well. They had changed the name from Journey into Mystery. Much like the previous one, we start with the somewhat cryptic teaser of Suture, something that won't take centre stage for actually at least 12 issues. Simon Waltonson was ahead of his time in a lot of ways. Planning and execution and storytelling are all things that he was doing with aplomb in a time when the long-term version of them wasn't employed too often. We have Donny Wallblake, Thor's human host. He has been robbed of Thor's magic hammer, so now he is stuck as ordinary human Donny Wallblake. This all began when Sam Jackson sent Thor up into space to investigate an advancing alien spaceship. He discovered the ship's lone occupant, Beta Ray Cyrus, an alien warrior, who then shocked the world by being able to lift Thor's magic hammer, and in doing so received the power of the mighty Thor. Later on, Sir Anthony Hopkins, unaware of the ordeal, summoned Thor back to fairyland and unknowingly took Beta Ray Cyrus, mistaking him for his son Thor. And now here is that end of the story. A misplaced Beta Ray Cyrus in fairyland. Beta Ray Cyrus attacks. He believes all these gods and goddesses are evil demons. And we waste no time getting to the heart of the conflict. Beta Ray Cyrus faces Anthony Hopkins, and we start learning Beta Ray Cyrus is now talking of saving his race. I do think there was some quick overhauling of Beta Ray Cyrus as a character between issues 1 and 2, but this is a great scene. The confrontation between Beta Ray Cyrus and Anthony Hopkins. And what I want to praise again is Simon Waltonson's deft use of fairyland. Last issue, when it came to the fairyland stuff, we focused on introducing two of the more important characters to new readers. Thor's lady love, Sieve. We got a page of her, and then we had a page setting up Baldric. We later had Tom Hiddleston, and those were the three major ones, the important ones that we needed. We also met a new character, the brilliant Laura, and along the way we had Anthony Hopkins at the end, obviously, and we also subtly incorporated Gimli and Idris during the Baldric and Sieve scenes. And this here is continuing that approach, giving readers their first real proper look at Anthony Hopkins. Now, Thor, the real Thor, he is brought back to Fairyland as Anthony Hopkins tries to work out what has transpired involving his son and this alien. I am not criticising it when I point out Beta Ray Cyrus's characterisation changes between issues. I am pointing it out as an area of note. I do think this issue goes a bit overboard with making him honourable, something he clearly was not in the last issue, and it's more to the extreme of making Anthony Hopkins and Thor seem a bit stupid. Elsewhere, we have Steve, who finds her beloved Thor making out with the far more attractive Laura. This infuriates her, but she will never know that it was actually Tom Hiddleston in disguise as Thor. I'll start an official countdown here. We are 21 issues away from Thor 359, the best issue of Thor ever published. And so, here cometh Beta Ray Cyrus's backstory. He is from a peaceful alien race that was sent fleeing into different corners of space when their planet did an explosion. Beta Ray Cyrus was chosen to be rebuilt as their warrior vanguard and protector of his people. They were attacked by another alien race, and Beta Ray Cyrus was separated from the rest. That is how he came to Earth. And now, armed with Thor's magic hammer, he has found a weapon with which he can combat the attacking aliens. Beta Ray Cyrus's intentions are good. That is partly why he is worthy of holding Thor's hammer. Again, just sidestep the parts last issue that made that a bit unlikely. This is noted a few times in this issue that it is the first time that anyone besides Thor and Sir Anthony have been able to lift the hammer. I guess even Thor decided that the Steppenwolf one didn't count. I mentioned it in part 1. It was horrible. Roger Thompson thought that he was being fun and quirky when he said that Steppenwolf was neither man nor god, so the laws of Thor's hammer don't apply to him. It also inadvertently means that all the new gods could lift Thor's magic hammer if they wanted. Next person to lift Thor's hammer will be Dargo Kotor, the future Thor. And then very shortly after that, Captain America. And then very shortly after that again, 90s Thor. Simon Waltonson opened the door, unfortunately. Doesn't Bo lift it too? I cannot remember much of this run that isn't the sexy rape bit, but doesn't Thor's granddaddy have the ability to lift it too? The remainder of this issue is excellent. We have combat, an official tournament between Thor and Beta Ray Cyrus to determine who shall possess thine magic hammer. They fight weaponless in the realm of the dwarves, and this is a fight to the death. Anthony Hopkins was always such a good dad, wasn't he? I think with a fight like this, a contest like this, it would be very easy for a lousy writer to insist upon and validate their character over the established title star. But Simon Waltonson does it quite fairly. Beta Ray Cyrus has some advantage in combat experience, but Thor is far from losing this fight. We continue on with Baldrick's midlife crisis, but feeding into exactly what I said about Simon Waltonson's excellent introduction of Fairyland. This is rather setting up Gimli through character interaction and exposition. We get a random character here, Agnar. He has come to challenge Baldrick to a duel, but instead finds a defeated Baldrick acting cowardly. Again, the scene is rather meant to set up Gimli for us. I was always not interested in what I have dubbed the Fairyland bollocks. But Simon Waltonson, I think he knew some people felt that way, and so he approached it in a wonderfully accessible way. And nowadays, I do still call it Fairyland bollocks, but I don't mind Fairyland bollocks, at least Thor's Fairyland bollocks. When I'm done with the Ballad of Beta Ray Cyrus, maybe I will look at the Tales of Fairyland. It was a reprint of Stanley Lee and Jack Quimby backup features from the Silver Age, with an all-new cover by Simon Waltonson. And I don't want to give anything away, but my next themed all video also features a lot of Fairyland bollocks. A lot of Thor in general, actually. At this point in the fight, Thor is decisively winning through strength, but we have a classic get out of jail free card, because rather than crown a victor, both would be burnt to death in the fiery lavas after Thor has bested Beta Ray Cyrus. But because of honour and being a hero, Beta Ray Cyrus sort of forfeits the contest to save both his and his opponent's lives. He could have left Thor there to die and taken the hammer with a clean victory. But now, well, he may have lost the contest, but he has passed a greater test by proving his worthiness and nobility. There are some comics that are hard to assess because what can I really say that hasn't been said before? It's a really great run. Not just because Thor gets raped, but because we have a quality creator who approaches the character and his mythology with just about every right idea he could. The art is good too. It's not Buscema, it's not Quimby, but it is up there with those two greats. I'll give part 2 here 7 thumbs up.